I always worry just a little bit, some of you guys coming down here and hoping that you're able to get back up, amen? That was a joke, I promise, all right? Hey, I know I'm getting old, I tell you what. No, I'm just kidding, no, I'm not there yet, all right? I go back and forth, because I always have somebody tell me afterwards, now, you're young enough to be my son or my grandson, and I understand that, okay? But let me feel old sometimes, okay? Dealing with the teenagers makes you feel old. In fact, I told Jen I came home Friday after vacation Bible school, all right? For those of you that don't know me so well, I have a couple of hobbies. I enjoy playing disc golf. If you don't know what that is, it's the easier version of regular golf. And I'm not good enough to play regular golf, so I play disc golf instead, all right? And then we enjoy playing board games together. I do enjoy playing video games as well. And one of the young men was talking, and he happened to talk to me and this other young lady that was there, and he said, do you guys know what a Wii is? Now, how many of you know what a Nintendo Wii is? Do we have some? Okay, a lot of you, okay. And then he proceeded to make me feel by saying, yeah, it's this really old console. I didn't appreciate that because I grew up playing the Wii and having a good time playing some of those sports games and bowling and stuff like that. So it made me feel old at that point. Again, I understand I'm not as old as some of you very wisdomous people in here, full of wisdom, all right? But it makes me feel old when you have these kids talking about some of the things they talk about, right? And those of you that worked VBS, you know. I mean, if I hear bro one more time or bruh one more time or crashing out one more time, I might crash out. We'll see. But we had a great week of VBS. And again, thank you for those that helped. And a special thank you, of course, Ms. Genesis for heading that up. It really was. It was a great time of helping these kids and helping them learn about Christ and all these important things, all right? But let's go ahead and get serious now. Let's go to the book of Nehemiah. Nehemiah chapter number 6. Now, you can stay seated for just a second. I have you stand. But I'm going to try to pace it out a little bit so nobody falls asleep on me, okay? But in case you have not been here in the past few afternoons, I have been preaching the Sunday afternoon services, and I've been going through the book of Nehemiah. And I'm going to be very honest for a second. Because this was a morning service, I originally was studying something else, something related to David, had my outline, had my message. I mean, it was going to be, is there not a cause, and David going to fight Goliath and stuff like that. And God just wouldn't let me do it. He just kept on saying, nope, I have you in Nehemiah for a reason. I knew when you were going to be preaching the morning service, all these things. And like I said, I had my outline, studying, going back and forth. And so this message is, I feel like maybe it's for me. I don't know, maybe I need it this morning before camp or something like that. But this is what I really feel like God wanted me to preach this morning. But if you have been missing, let me bring you up to date really quickly. Nehemiah is in Israel, all right? And if you know anything about the time period, basically the Israelites were in exile for quite a while, but they have been slowly returning back to Jerusalem, back to their homeland. With that being said, they haven't gotten much done, though. The walls before Nehemiah got there were still broken down. They weren't worshiping the temple like they were supposed to. I mean, a lot of bad things were going on, a lot of good things were not going on. And so Nehemiah goes back and he successfully rallies the people of Jerusalem in spite of a lot of outside persecution. And even last week we talked about some issues, some difficulties coming from within Jerusalem. And he rallies the people and they start to finish the wall. In fact, we kind of see basically we're getting there, and we'll see at the end of this chapter. But everything seems to be going a little bit smoother. But then we come to verse number 1 of chapter number 6. And let's go ahead and stand together in reverence of reading of God's word. And we see the enemies that have been tormenting Nehemiah this whole time. 3 men. It says, now it came to pass, Nehemiah 6:1, now it came to pass when Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem the Arabian and the rest of our enemies heard that I had builded the wall and that there was no breach left therein, though at that time I had not set up the doors upon the gate, so just about done, that Sanballat and Geshem sent unto me, saying, come, let us meet together in one of the villages in the plains of Ono. But they thought to do me mischief. And I sent messengers unto them, saying, I am doing a great work, so that I cannot come down. why should the work cease whilst I leave it and come down to you? And so for the next few minutes, that's the phrase I want us to think about is, why should the work cease? Thank you. You may be seated. In the Christian life, we have responsibilities, right? We have a lot of things that we are told to do, a lot of commandments throughout Scripture, right? Love thy neighbor as thyself, to make sure that we are following the 10 Commandments, and a lot of those Jesus kind of enhanced in the New Testament. We're to pray without ceasing. We're to study, show thyself approved unto God. We're to be faithful to church. We're to go into all the world and preach the gospel, right? So we have essentially a work that we are to be always working on for God. We are part of, we could say, really his kingdom builders, right? That we are here on earth to make sure that first off that we're saved, that make sure that you are saved. That was one of the things I really emphasized to the kids this week in VBS was you need to know for sure that you are saved. And you need to be 100% sure. Salvation is something that is not to be messed around with. All right? And I want to emphasize this. I think it also affects adults. Salvation is not something to be embarrassed about. It's one of those things that I think sometimes adults get a little bit hesitant about to talk about. Like, well, I've been in church all of my life. Everybody thinks that I'm saved. I give. I teach a Sunday school class, whatever the case may be. Listen, I promise you that nobody will be upset with you if you say, you know what? I don't think I'm actually saved. How can I get saved? I promise you. If somebody does have an issue with it, tell them to come talk to me. That was a little bit of a joke, okay? Can y'all smile for me just a little bit? Y'all making me a little bit nervous this morning. I tell you what. I mean, I understand things look bleak sometimes, but hey, we're in God's house, amen? I was glad when they said to me, let's go into the house of the Lord. Let's be glad about it. Do I need to get you guys like stand up and do some hand motion songs, something like that, get y'all excited? All right, then y'all better be good. That's what we're going to do next, all right? I'll get Miss Genesis on one side, I'll do the other side, and we'll have you guys shout at each other, all right? But it's important for us to make sure that we understand that we have a work here that we are to be focused on. We have a work, and it's to build God's kingdom, to make sure that first and foremost you're saved, and then to tell others about him. It can really be summed up in those two things. And obviously, there's a lot of aspects to that, right? I mean, you're going to be not an effective witness if you don't know Scripture yourself. You're not going to be a very effective witness if you haven't spent time in prayer. But really can be kind of very simply, almost oversimplified, boiled down to those two things. And what we see here in these first two verses that we read is, when you are working on the work of God, foes will arise. They will arise. Let's read it again. Now it came to pass when Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem the Arabian and the rest of our enemies. These are guys, Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem. Again, we really addressed them in detail in a previous message. If you weren't here, I'm sorry. But basically, they belong to groups of people that are the historical enemies of Israel. Of course, we know that the historic enemy of the church is not people, but it's Satan, amen? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. And so we have to understand that whenever you are doing the work of God, foes will arise. Now, this time, they're being a little bit sneaky, all right? Because notice what they say here. In the past, they've threatened, they've written letters, they have almost all but attacked them physically. I mean, basically, they had the Israelites on such edge that Nehemiah had instructed them that they were not to go anywhere or do any work without having their sword on them, okay? So they thought the threat of physical violence was very, very real. But notice that Sanballat and Geshem here, they send this message. They say, hey, let's go talk in one of these villages. Well, let's just get together, all right? On surface level, let's be honest, on surface level, that doesn't seem so bad, right? I mean, it's just talking. This is not a confrontation. This is not a direct attack, but we have to remember that the enemy is smart. He's smart. And the goal here for them, it is to hurt Nehemiah and to get him off track and to stop the work of God. Notice what his response is. And I sent messengers unto them saying, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease whilst I leave it and come down to you? This is so key. And I'm kind of giving you the meat of my message in this first point, okay? But we have to remember as Christians that the work of God is the most important thing. I have seen way, way too many Christians that have gotten sidetracked by things that do not matter in light of eternity, that the work of God suffers because of it. Listen, this is so important. I want you guys to get this because I've seen it. I've seen it here. That if somebody gets upset about something and they let themselves get distracted to where the work of God suffers because of it. And as Christians, we have to be mature and we have to say, hey, why should the work cease? This is not important enough for me to cause issues about. I don't think some of you are getting this. This is not important enough for me to bother pastor about. This is not important enough for me to split the church over. This is not important enough for me to go and talk to people behind their backs. Because what happens and what they don't realize is Satan, he's not doing a full frontal direct attack, but he's coming, he's sneaked in, and he's just trying to get you distracted from the work. That's what he does. For some of you, it is a full-on attack. He knows what your weakness is. Some of you, the attack that hurts you the most is when you have family members that hurt you, right? Some of you, you have family members that they cause heartache for you, right? And let's be honest, that happens, okay? That's Satan's way of attacking some of you. Some of you, it's a sin. It's a sin that you struggle with. And so he throws that in front of you. But there's plenty of us that his distraction is just trying to get us away from the work of God and trying to sidetrack us with all these little things that don't matter. Listen, I'm begging you, church, because again, I've seen it. I've seen it. Don't let Satan sidetrack you from the work of God with things that aren't important. Nehemiah knew that these guys were up to no good. Nehemiah knew that nothing productive was going to come of this meeting. Nothing. Nehemiah knew that this was a ploy of Satan to get him away from the work of God. Be like Nehemiah. Be like Nehemiah. Ask yourself, when something arises, when someone says something to you, when somebody does something that you think they shouldn't have done, or they don't do something that you think they should have done, is it worth the work ceasing over that? And I think we could probably safely say, no, it's not. Why should the work cease? Why? I'm doing a great work. I'm doing God's will. And look, they were persistent. He's faithful in this matter. Look at verse number 4. Yet they sent unto me 4 times after this sort, and I answered them in the same manner. Listen, Satan is relentless. He's going to attack you multiple times. I think sometimes we think, oh, I beat Satan today. I'm good to go for the rest of the week. No, he's probably going to attack again in the next minute. He's sneaky, and again, we've done ourselves a disservice because we don't talk about Satan enough, and we allow the media and the movies and the TV shows to talk about Satan, and he's this little guy in a costume with horns. No, he is a roaring lion, and he's walking about seeking whom he may devour. I've mentioned this before, but Satan itself, it means adversary. Satan's end goal is simply to be against God. That's his goal. He doesn't care about all the little things. He really doesn't. He cares about if it hurts you, but he doesn't care about all the little side objectives. No, he wants to get and stop the work of God, and he wants to get you off track because he knows if you're saved, he can't unsave you. He doesn't have that power, amen? And that's a great thing, but he knows that he can get you off track. So when something arises, and again, I'm pleading with you from my heart today because I want us to get this, but when something arises that threatens to take you from God's work, when someone says something that maybe they shouldn't have said it, but they said it, ask yourself, why should the work cease? When someone hurts you, maybe in this church, Maybe someone you thought was your friend, but they hurt you. Ask yourself, why should the work cease? When pastor does something that you don't like, might do something you don't like, you disagree with. Ask yourself, why should the work cease? The work of God is what we're here to do. And it takes all of us. It takes all of us. I can't do it by myself. Pastor can't do it by himself. The Sunday school teachers, the nursery workers, we can't do it by ourselves. It takes every single one of us. And when something arises, ask yourself, why should the work cease? They were faithful in these matters. Be faithful to the ministry that God has given you to do. So some of you, and again, I saw it this week in Vacation Bible School. I'm going to pick on Miss Sharon for just a second, all right? Miss Sharon taught the youngest kids, and I have consistently told from Skylar to Andrew, now to Miss Genesis, that I can't do the young ones. I just don't have the patience for it. And I'm confessing my sins before you guys, all right? But the little ones, I just don't have the patience for it. I enjoy being able to talk to a kid and then tell them to sit down, and then either they sit down or they don't, all right? And if they're old enough to know to sit down, and they don't do it, and they're being disrespectful, and they're going to be disciplined for it. They're going to get in trouble, okay? But the young ones, they don't know that yet, all right? So you have to have a lot of patience. Miss Sharon had a lot of patience for them this week. That was Miss Sharon's ministry this week. And I tell you what, there was a lot of distractions, but she didn't let the work cease. And that's a great thing. What is your ministry? What are you doing here at Greenwood Village Baptist Church? Now, I want you to ask yourself that question. What are you doing here? Are you at least at the bare minimum, are you at least praying? There's some of you can say, you know what, I'm past my prime and I can't do much anymore. That's fine. But prayers are always, always appreciated. And we can never have too many of them, amen? We can't. Those of you that are still young and you can keep up with the youngins, especially during VBS, what's your ministry? Those of you that like kids and you have that helpful hand of being in the nursery, you're able to calm the child that's screaming its head off. Are you helping the nursery? Those of you that are gifted with getting even the most distracted child to pay attention, are you helping with the younger classes? Guys, are you helping with security if that's your thing, or help with taking up the offering? If you have the talent of singing, are you in the choir? Listen, what is your ministry? Have you let that work cease? Don't let Satan distract you from your ministry. Don't let Satan distract you from your church, amen. God has brought you here for a reason. Don't let Satan distract you from that and try to pull you away for something that doesn't even matter. I've seen so many people get upset and leave a church over things that didn't matter. Don't let him distract you. Unfortunately, when the foes arise and we're being faithful, sometimes there's even falsehood spread. Look at verse number 5. It says, then Sanballat, his servant unto me in like manner the fifth time, with an open letter in his hand. Look at what verse 6 says. Wherein was written, it is reported among the heathen, and Gashmu saith it, that thou and the Jews think to rebel, for which cause thou buildest the wall, that thou mayest be their king according to these words. And thou hast also appointed prophets to preach of thee in Jerusalem, saying, there is a king in Judah, and now shall it be reported to the king according to these words. Come now, therefore, and let us take counsel together. Do you guys realize what Sanballat has now done? He stepped up the attacks. He went from, hey, Nehemiah, let's just get together. Let's have a good little conversation. Everything's going to be all good. To, hey, Nehemiah, if you don't come talk to me, this letter is going to go to the king, and it's going to say that the Israelites are wanting to rebel, that Nehemiah, you're basically their king now, and you even have prophets preaching in the street that you're the king, and you have all the people behind you. He has gone from simply, hey, let's just talk, to, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to tell the king and lie about you. Again, I want to warn you, when you're doing the work of God, Satan will attack. And if you stay faithful, which I hope and pray that you do, make sure you stay faithful, he will step up his attacks. Satan is not like a little animal that, you take away the bone and he just like goes and mopes around. Oh, well, I guess can't get it today. No, he's relentless. He's going to keep attacking and keep attacking. You've got to be ready for it. And that's what we see here, that Sanballat is willing to resort to outright lies to try to get Nehemiah off track. Look at verse number 8. Nehemiah responds well. He says, "Then I sent to him saying, there are no such things done as thou sayest, but thou feignest them, thou fakest them out of thine own heart." Goodness graciousness. Sanballat is lying. And thankfully, Nehemiah recognizes it for what it is and says, you're making this all up. He's staying faithful in spite of the attacks. But I do want to point out, look at verse number 9. "For they all made us afraid, saying, their hand shall be weakened from the work that be not done. Now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands." There's a little bit of fear there. There's going to be times in your life where you're afraid. But you know the Bible talks about that, right? "What time I'm afraid, I will trust in thee." Fear happens sometimes. You've gone through situations in your life where you have been afraid. I guarantee you. If not, come talk to me because I want to figure out what your secret is, all right? We've all been there. Again, maybe it was something to do with a family member, maybe a sickness, maybe you're going through financial issues, maybe just stress or whatever the case may be. There has been times in your life where the attacks of Satan have made you afraid. Listen, that's normal, okay? It is. It's normal because he's a scary guy. He's a roaring lion. He is the prince of the air. And he's walking about, he's seeking whom he devour. But listen, look at what Nehemiah immediately does. Hey, they're trying to make us afraid. Now therefore, verse 9, "Now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. What time I am afraid," Psalm 56:3, "I will trust in thee." Look what verse number 10 says. "Afterward I came unto the house of Shemaiah, the son of Delaiah, the son of Mehetabel, who was shut up, and he said, let us meet together in the house of God within the temple, and let us shut the doors of the temple, for they will come to slay thee. Yea, in the night they will come to slay thee. And I said, should such a man as I flee, and who is there, that being as I am, would go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in." Now listen, again, I already said there's nothing wrong with being a little bit afraid. But we need to make sure we respond to fear in the right way. We don't respond to fear by letting the work cease. We don't respond to fear by forgetting about the work that God has us doing. We respond to fear, we face it head on, and we trust God. "What time I'm afraid, I will trust in thee." Shemaiah comes to Nehemiah and says, "Hey, Nehemiah, I think they're going to try to kill you. Let's go to the temple. Let's lock the doors, and you'll be safe in there." But unfortunately, we see that Shemaiah is a false friend. Look at verse number 12. "And lo, I perceive," this is Nehemiah speaking, "I perceive that God had not sent him, but that he pronounced his prophecy against me, for Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. Therefore was he hired, that I should be afraid and do so," and look at this next word, "and sin, and that they might have matter for an evil report, that they might reproach me." Nehemiah right here is recognizing that when Satan attacks and fear sets in a little bit, we have to be careful not to sin. All right, now listen, stay with me for a second. When Satan attacks and you're on the defensive, it's very, very easy to get off track and start focusing on the wrong things, and that can even lead to sin. Well, this person said something about me, so guess what? I'm going to say something about them. Oh, me. Well, they hurt my feelings. Well, guess what? I guess I'm just going to leave that church. I'm going to stop doing that ministry. If they can't help me, then I'm not going to do it. Oh, they didn't like the way I did it? Well, I guess I just won't do it ever again. Oh, me. Are you with me? And I'm preaching this. Look, this is what God told me to, okay? And I'm preaching because I realize how dangerous this is. But here is the big key. If we focus on the work, we're not going to have the time to sin. And Nehemiah got that. That's why he kept saying, I'm not coming down. I'm not going to let the work cease, because he knew when he started trusting in his own flesh and his own knowledge, when he started relying on people he shouldn't rely on, then he was going to make mistakes. Trust God and do what God wants you to do. It's as simple as that. Now, again, it's a lot simpler said than done, but it is as simple as that. If I am so focused on what God wants me to do, and I remember, and it's amazing to me how I've heard some wonderful, wonderful preachers and teachers throughout my time. And I can remember when I was at Crown, and one of the youth ministry classes, Brother Pauly said this multiple times. And to be honest with you, at the time, it didn't make sense, all right? But he always said this. He said, make sure that when you do ministry, when you're doing the work of God, that you're doing it because you love God and not because you love the people. Because the people will let you down. And if you're doing it for the people, the first time they let you down, maybe not the first time, maybe the second time, maybe the third time, but at some point when they let you down, you're going to stop doing the work. But God will never let you down. And if you stay focused on that, you can keep doing the work. And I tell you what, when I first heard that as a 18, 19, 20-year-old guy in college, just barely kind of in ministry, have his couple of toes in, like, well, I mean, of course you got to love the people. What are you talking about? And again, listen, I love each and every one of you in here. I do. I love the teenagers. I truly do. But I'm not here because of you guys. I'm not. I'm not here for the teenagers. I am here because God wants me here in Humble, Texas at Greenwood Village Baptist Church. And I'm going to be blunt. I love it here. I have no desire to leave. I truly don't. I say it with all sincerity. All right? I would love to be youth pastoring here until the rapture happens or God takes me home. All right? But I'm being very honest when I say this. If God ever says, Joshua, it's time for you to go somewhere else, I'm going to go somewhere else. Because that's more important to me than anything else. And listen, it should be the same way with you. If God has called you here to Greenwood Village Baptist Church, the only thing that should move you away from Greenwood Village Baptist Church is God. Are you listening? It shouldn't be the person that hurt your feelings. I'm being a little bit blunt here, but please listen to my heart. It shouldn't be the person that hurt your feelings. It shouldn't be the person that said something that you wouldn't have said or did something you wouldn't have done. If God brought you here, only God should take you away. If God has put you in a ministry in this church doing something for him, then you're doing it for him. You're not doing it for these people. And again, that's hard to say. That's hard to grasp sometimes because it hurts when people hurt you. It does. Listen, I'm not minimizing that. I'm not taking that away, but I am telling you that people will let you down, but God will never let you down. And so if you focus on the work that God has given you, you can stay in it for him, and you can make sure that the work does not cease. We see these false friends, Shemaiah. We see some other ones. They're hired to do and all these other things. It says, my God, think upon Tobiah and Sanballat according to these their works, and on the prophetess Noadiah, and on the rest of prophets that would have put me in fear. There's multiple ones that are causing issues. Skip down really quick to verse number 17. Moreover, in those days, the nobles of Judah sent many letters unto Tobiah, and the letters of Tobiah came unto them. Why? For there were many in Judah sworn unto him, because he was the son-in-law of Shechaniah, the son of Erah, and his son Johanan had taken the daughter of Meshullam, the son of Berechiah. Now, I don't want to spend too much on this, okay? But I want to almost encourage you to study this on your own. But let me let you know a little secret. The reason that Nehemiah tells us who Tobiah has married into is because he's actually married into the Jewish families. If you look at these people right here, Erah is mentioned as a son of Ulla in the Chronicles, which lists him of the tribe of Asher. And in fact, if you were to skip down, look at chapter 7 with me really quickly, verse number 10. Nehemiah 7:10 says this, the children of Erah, 652. So this is a head of a family. So what we see right here is that Tobiah is married into a Jewish family. On top of that, Tobiah's son has taken a granddaughter of Berechiah. Now, Berechiah is a very, very popular Hebrew name that's used several times, but we actually see that there was a Berechiah that's mentioned in the same timeline that's a descendant of King David himself. So my point is this, that sometimes the ones that are even causing issues are the ones closest to you. Sometimes they're the ones in the family. Sometimes they're the ones that you least expect. But we see here that the enemy has been so cunning that he has literally married his family into the Jewish family. And there are people that are more loyal to Tobiah and by proxy Sanballat and Geshem than they are Nehemiah. But in spite of all this, and we're going to finish here, we do see the finish. Because look at verse number 15. So the wall was finished in the 25th day of the month Elul in 52 days. And it came to pass, I like this right here. And it came to pass that when all our enemies heard thereof, and all the heathen that were about us saw these things, they were much cast down their own eyes. Why? For they perceived that this work was wrought of our God. Oh, that's good stuff right there, isn't it? You see, when you stay faithful, when you do the work that God wants you to do, when you stay focused on him in spite of all the distractions, in spite of all the attacks, guess what? Even the enemy can't help but admit, hey, this is all because of God. There's so many songs we sing, right, that were it not for his grace and talking about his grace and who he is and were it not for all of these things, but we don't often live it. Listen, stay focused on the work that God has given you. Stay focused on the ministry that God has given you. If you're not involved in one, get involved in one. Pray about it. God, what would you have me do? How would you have me contribute to Greenwood Village Baptist Church? And listen, if God has brought you here, he's brought you here for a reason and a purpose. Don't let the work cease. Stay faithful. And in the end, you can point back and say, hey, it's all been wrought of God. Let's pray.